Greek mythology is a complex array of stories and tales that span from the beginning of the world, various ages of gods, the age of heroes, up until the retreat of the gods. It has monsters and nymphs, giants chugging mountains, voyages of the world, explorations of the underworld, Zeus's sex life, the fall of Troy, and of course, the labors of Hercules and Theseus. So, where do we begin? We could start with Zeus, the current king of the gods and men, the ruler of heaven and everything underneath. Or we could start with Homer, not that one, this one. He wrote the Iliad and its sequel, the Odyssey. Many famous monsters and heroes come from here. There is also Virgil, but he was post-Greek. Or we could begin with Theseus and the founding of Greek power in the Mediterranean. But perhaps it's better to start at the very beginning, before Athena and Ares, earlier than the births of Apollo, Artemis, or Hecate's magic, before men, nymphs, monsters, or that one time Zeus turned into a goose. Let's begin at the start of time and existence, where reality and matter were nothing more than chaos. Described as a shapeless heap by Ovid, chaos is the void. It is a formless state before creation. In Greek cosmology, chaos is essentially a birth giver. Other cosmologies, such as the Egyptian and Mesopotamian legends, chaos is more of an antagonistic force where a legendary hero figure must battle it, such as Marduk fighting Tiamat, the sea dragon of chaos, or Horus fighting Set, the chaos god, brother to Osiris. Understanding chaos and how ancient people view it takes us down quite a rabbit hole. Let me know if you're interested in learning more about it. Back to the Greeks. Chaos was a timeless mass of everything and nothing. This primal chaos was said to be the foundation of existence. Different authors suggest different origins from chaos. One author suggested a dancing goddess emerged from chaos, Eurynome, and her companion, a world snake. Another author wrote of 5 gods formed from this great abyss. Hesiod wrote the Theogony, and in it he said Gaia came into being, and Tartarus and Eros, and Erebus and dark night. Gaia is the earth, her broad bosom, the ever-firm foundation of all, suggesting how Gaia is the mother of everything. Tartarus is described as dim in the underground depths, where Eros is loveliest of all the immortals. When they describe Erebus and dark night, they are described together. Night, of course, refers to Nyx. With these first primordial figures born from chaos, we have the first foundations of the Greek universe. There is another figure born from chaos that is often overlooked. It was Chronos. Not to be confused with the yet-to-be-born Chronos, the future king of the Titans, but Chronos, the god of time and the keeper of time within this universe. With the gods who emerge from chaos or born from the first primordials, often called the Protogenoi, the universe slowly takes shape. Darkness, night, day, time, even love, or the law of attraction, begin to set in motion the primal functions of the universe. The void of chaos has retreated and gave way to a new setting for this Greek story, Gaia. Chaos is still around, but it is now a thin veil between the world of the living and Tartarus or the underworld. Gaia is the first queen of the gods and a deity who birthed by herself 3 other primordial beings: Pontus, the great sea, the Ourea, or the great mountains of the world, and Uranus, the great sky. While Gaia was the first queen, Erebos and Nyx were the first power couple. Together they had the ether, the high sky breathed in by the gods themselves, and day. Erebus is the darkness we see when we die and before we wake up in the underworld, while Nyx gave birth to a whole slew of abstract concepts known as the Chthonic deities. These gods include dream, sleep, violence, old age, doom, ridicule, revenge, discord, misery, and death. These are ever present in the world of men. As Nyx chilled in her realm, Gaia was setting the stage for future conflicts. What is a good story without a bit of drama? right? While Gaia and Pontus did have some earth and sea children, it was the children that Gaia had with her official consort, Uranus, that really set things in motion. Together, Mother Earth and Father Sky had about 18 children. 3 Cyclops, which were smart giants with one eye, 3 Hecatoncherries, the strong giants with 100 hands and 50 to 100 heads, and the 12 Titans. For the most part, we haven't spoken of the personality of the gods, because at this point most gods or deities or entities are nothing more than concepts, abstracts, or impossibly massive beings that shape our world. While we could assume that Eros would love a good romantic film, or Erebos and Nyx would probably go shopping at an early 2000s Hot Topic, we don't get a description of how the deities actually were. That is, until Uranus and all the family drama that followed. It began with pride and disgust. Proud was Uranus, the king of the gods, the king of the universe. He was the sky, but when the sky looked down upon his children, he was disgusted. His children were described as dreaded offspring, and Uranus agreed. He began to stuff all of his children back into a hollow of earth as soon as they were born, keeping them from the light. Uranus was described as being pleased with himself upon doing such a dreaded act. Perhaps Uranus was the butt of the joke, or he was afraid of his reign coming to an end. He looked at his less than perfect divine offspring and shut them down inside the womb of the world. Gaia had enough of this misbehaving of her husband and looked deep within the earth to find her imprisoned children and asked one of them to act. While it is not clear what the relationship between the children was, we do know that they were seen and described as 3 separate sets of children, not 18 brothers and sisters. The 3 Cyclops were kept away, as were the 300-handed giants and the 12 Titans. Gaia was the earth, and so apparently having all these giants and divinities inside of her womb made her groan under the pressure inside. The children wanted out. It was the youngest of the Titan children, Chronos, who was willing to help his mother. He volunteered as tribute and was often described as a Titan whose mind worked in strange ways. It was Cronus' intelligence that made him the future king of the gods. Gaia had a plan, a wicked plan. She created a new mineral, a gray flint, and formed a huge sickle from it. The sickle was given to Chronos, and with it, Chronos castrated his father. It is curious that Chronos castrated Uranus. Why not go for the throat? In some works of art, like Judith and the head of Holofernes, she decapitated this king to establish power and make his army retreat. But Uranus is the sky. He is an immortal entity. What would have happened to the world if the sky was cut at the throat? Would the world of Gaia have been thrown back into chaos? From a political or king and prince standpoint, castrating his father meant that Uranus could no longer have any more children, no more monstrous children, and no more threats to his rule, right? Also, Greek mythology is defined by generational conflicts. Parents and their children go head to head. This makes for some great drama. Theseus supplants Aegeus, Hippolytus challenges Theseus, Oedipus unknowingly kills Laius, Achilles defies his mother Metis, Paris disobeys Priam of Troy, Ares challenges Zeus, Athena broke out of Zeus's head, Zuko disrespected the Father Lord or Fire Lord, Tyrion kills Tywin, and Jack Shepherd defied his father, and Shoto Todoroki had nothing but contempt for his father Endeavor. The point is, generational trauma and the fall of one generation gives rise to the next. This is a very human theme. Another reason why the castration makes sense is the separation of church and state, heaven and earth. Like the Egyptian god Shu separating the sky goddess Nut and the earth god Geb, Uranus' castration breaks him away from Gaia. They can no longer have children. Well, except for the giants, but we'll get to that. The point is, Chronos castrated his father, threw away his genitalia, and Chronos proceeded to free his Titan brethren. The giants and Hecatoncherries were kept imprisoned, but they'll play a role later in the story. Also, Uranus's castrated stuff fell onto the sea, and that is why we have sea foam. From this, a goddess was born. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, arose from Uranus's castration. The first thing she did upon being born was hitting the subscribe button. But what this means is that Aphrodite was the last daughter of the heavens. With the fall of Uranus, the age of the ancient primordial gods is done, and a new golden age has begun. The age of the Titans.